while I was there in just a couple hours. He had a walking meeting coming in, he had a standing meeting in, we did the podcast, he did another standing meeting, then he did another walking meeting, and then we had another meeting with him later. Literally like 7 meetings within a matter of a couple hours. And one of the first things I said to him when we sat down to do the podcast, I said, "Busy day, huh?" And he looked at me and said, "Active." I was like, all right, let's do it. So that changed my perspective. And go back one more time. So active is engaging or ready to engage in physically energetic pursuits. Like that's the type of entrepreneur that I want to be rather than taking up space and filling up a void. Next slide. So I'm going to share a few more of my magnetic stories and ask you guys some questions. So how cool would it be if brilliant ideas just showed up in your life and just kept downloading, right? Next slide. And what if it felt good to take action on these ideas, like our boy right here, right? Because a lot of times, as entrepreneurs, we have good ideas, but sometimes it feels hard to take action on them. Being magnetic, it makes it easy to take action on them. So pause that real quick. So one of my crazy ideas was to start a podcast and do it in an events format. So we threw a launch like this, and it quickly grew. From the first one, we had 70 people to 120 people, to the next one, we had 220 people. That's what I call magnetic. So here's a little video that shows it off. And that was just a couple months after I had the idea for the podcast, which still blows my mind. Next slide. So how cool would it be if you got the warm introductions to some of the biggest influencers in the world? This was one, if you guys know who Ed Milet is, I got in a 3-way chat because of the fact that kind of through some serendipitous events. Next slide. How cool would it be if your heroes became your homies? One of my friends shared that quote with me. And the one that's really special about this, his name's Jason Capital. He was one of the first people that I invested $500 into a course. When I was sleeping on a futon, driving Uber, living with my parents still, and all of a sudden I was in Bora Bora with him, and there was this evening where we eating dinner, and I just had that realization, is that like a former hero that I invested in his course for $500 a couple years prior, all of a sudden I'm hanging out with him, having a delicious meal on an island. It's crazy. Next slide. And then how cool would it be if you got asked to speak at his mastermind? A couple months later after that, he asked me to speak. This one blows my mind too, is like, how cool would it be if you were so magnetic that you got invited to private podcasts and then picked up whale clients? Russell Brunson, owner of ClickFunnels, somehow I got invited to this little podcast. There's like 20 people in my friend's apartment, and still blows my mind to say, but a couple weeks later, he became a client. Next slide. And how cool would it be if you were so magnetic that anytime you launched one of your offers, the whole room said, yes, I want to be a client. That's exactly what happened when I first pitched another offer. And how cool would it be if you were so magnetic you could quickly say no to the things that were not for you? Because that's really what magnetism is things that are not for you. So what if we could quickly identify and weed out all the things that are going to be wasting our time, money, and energy? Because I'm actually curious about this one. As entrepreneurs, who has a fear of wasting? Wasting time, wasting money, and wasting energy. I know for me, that's one of, like, honestly, my biggest fears. Next slide. Because we're always investing time or money. And here's a funny fact I heard recently, is that you're always going to spend what you value least. So if you value time more, you're going to spend more money. If you value money more, you're going to spend more time, right? Slide. So essentially what I'm getting at is that magnetic people essentially have these glasses that allow them to see what most people can't, and they waste less time, less money, and less energy because they basically have a higher self-filtration system. So think about it too. Like magnets, they are the most efficient things in the world, right? They just zoom, attract the things in right away. But what they also do is they repel the things that are not for them, right? They only attract the things that are for them, and they push away the things that are not for them. Go to the next one. So who wants more magnetism in their life? Okay, cool. So I guess really the question here is, how do we actually become magnetic, right? Next one. So I call this the triangle of magnetism. This is what we take through all our one-on-one coaching clients. But it's a combination of vision, communication, and community. Now, obviously we don't have time to spend on all three of these, but I want to talk about the first one and the most important one because it's the driver for everything, and it's vision, okay? So what is a real vision? Because that's really what it's about. It's a real vision, not just like, you know, thinking about a goal here and there, but a real vision. So what is a real vision? Well, first I'll tell you what is not a real vision. It's not just setting goals. It's not just keeping something in your head. It's not just writing something down. It's not just doing it one time and being done. It's not having everything figured out before you start. It's not waiting for clarity to strike, and honestly, it's never finished. A vision is you can speak it on command, and it's a part of you. It's ongoing. It's your guiding light. It starts right now, right? It's always evolving. It's out of your head, and it's constantly reminded to you. It energizes you. It's electric. It's alive, and you feel it. So to illustrate this a little bit, I want to share my vision. You guys cool if I share my vision a little bit? So with the podcast events, this is something I'm very passionate about and I love. And I want to go on a bigger scale. So my vision is to do a stadium event down at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. And to illustrate this even further is that I can feel it. Like I close my eyes, I think about this. I think about me walking on stage. They announce my name. I dap up the MC. I'm excited. Like I get chills. I can smell the popcorn. I can smell the grass. I crack open my LaCroix, and we start having that conversation. I can feel it. Even as I explain it, you guys might be able to feel that too. That's a vision. It excites you. It energizes you. So let's craft what a real vision is. And there's three components to that, okay? The first component is you got to make peace with who you are and where you're at. You also get to feel gratitude because, again, this is the foundation. If you don't have this foundation, it's like building a house on sand. It's going to eventually fall through, right? So you must make peace with where you're at and understand where you're at, who you are. Have that self-understanding. And the next thing is, and this is a big one, is having gratitude, like real gratitude. And Andrew Huberman, are we familiar with Andrew Huberman? Yeah. He's a psychologist. He's a professor at Stanford, I believe. And he talks about the two most powerful gratitude practices based on neuroscience is speaking gratitude towards others and then receiving and hearing that gratitude from others. Because in order for you to feel that gratitude, you've got to generate it within yourself and then send it out to other people. And what you send out immediately comes back. So it's by far the best gratitude practice that there is. So that's the foundation. Number two, this is the birthing process. Now, again, you start it immediately. It's never too soon to start a vision. The next thing is decide on the person you're becoming and where you're going. The other important part is to get it out of your head. If it's in your head, it's not a vision, okay? And you want a constant reminder of why. Why is so important. It gives you that conviction on really what you're doing. Next. So you know that, pause that real quick.
You can walk down the street.
So you know the guy we talked about, Jim Carrey. I want to show you a quick little video on his vision. So I'll go ahead and play it.
Who can walk down the street, just doing anything he wants to and get away with it because nobody knows you. You know, after a while, hopefully it'll be to the point where I can't walk out the street. Won't that be fun?
Obviously, you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night.
and visualize seeing yourself as.
Yeah, I would visualize.
This is when you were broke and poor.
Right, having
directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work or whatever that is, and I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85,
Yeah. And
didn't
I
you?
had nothing at that time, so it was like, but it just made me feel better. It made me, at that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things. They're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there. I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on thinking of Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. So you visualize yourself. Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and go eat a sandwich.
A lot of it has to do with, just the courage to jump in. Did you ever imagine that we'd get this ridiculous? Because I know you for a long time, you're doing this series, and you're going to star on TV for a while, but now it's like crazy. These people going nuts. The funny thing about it is I was always into this, visualization and stuff, and I years ago, it's an interesting story because I 4 years ago, I used to go up to Mulholland Drive, and I used to say, I had this and that and this. Oh, it's all good, and it's coming from you. And I actually wrote myself a check, and this is for real. This is not a joke. This is for real. I wrote myself a check for $10 million per picture. This is by Thanksgiving 1995. Wow, look at that. This is the actual, don't wreck it. No, I don't want it. Yeah, that's the actual check I wrote myself 4 years ago. And that's
Nothing else, it made me feel more positive about where I was. I drove down from Mulholland Drive every night, that I went up there, feeling that I was one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. I was doing wonderful work, made people happy. I owned all that. That was, I guess, what I own, when you think about it, is my fame. These scripts find me, they really do at certain times in my life. And,
Pretty cool stuff, huh? Does that give you guys chills? Yeah. So again, just to put the numbers to it, 180 million at 62. We'll talk about Conor McGregor here in a second. You can go to the next one. But let's talk about this for a second and let's kind of dissect it a little bit. One of the first things that I heard in there is that he would go to Mulholland Drive and he would just visualize that he was there and he had all those things. But what he didn't do, he wasn't like, oh man, I'm not there yet. What did he do? He made peace with who he was and where he was. And he also felt gratitude for where he was. He had that foundation. But then he got it out of his head. He was deciding exactly who he was becoming and where he was going. He started immediately. And I bet he has a constant reminder why. I don't know the exact reason on why he wanted to do what he did, but you can see how that was perfectly illustrated. And I think one of the biggest things is that he got it out of his head. It wasn't just muddled up in there. It was something outside that reminded him every day. Every day, constant reminder, constant reminder. So let's talk about the next guy. Conor McGregor. He's almost half of Jim Carrey's age, yet he's already made more money. And there's one single little shift that I believe that Conor McGregor has done that has resulted in why he is a lot further ahead along the journey. So let's go to this next one. Oh, no, here, you can go back. Yeah, okay, so then the third part is speaking the vision out into existence, okay? Also, listening to it daily. Also, the more emotion and energy, the faster it draws in. And it's constantly updating. This is what I talked about before, is like the vision is always being recreated. It's always being evolving. But here's the biggest thing for me, is that speaking the vision out. That's what adds rocket fuel to this. Because when you speak things out with conviction, it gives you more conviction, it gives you more belief. And that's something that Conor McGregor has done incredibly well. He speaks with confidence and he speaks with conviction, and he's always very certain about what he is doing and who he is becoming. There's another little clip here.
I was asking you on Thursday about his right hand. Can I tell you when you told me? I said his right hand would get him into trouble. It's the shot I predicted. I said he'd overload on his right hand. I said I'd slip. I said I'd bang a left hook. And that's what happened.
Word for word, you said, I felt when we stared down, I felt his right hand was twitching, which was a subtle tell for me. He is ready to unload that right hand, and I feel that could be a downfall for him. If he lets that right hand go, I will not be there. I simply enter the way I enter, and that is enough. They either overextend or they shrink away, but either way it is not good for them. I will create traps and dead space inside that octagon, and I will walk him into that dead space, but all of a sudden he will be in danger. How do you do that?
And if you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction and it will become reality. I knew you would overextend. I knew I'd catch it.
That one gives me chills. So why energy? Why is energy important? Well, you guys might know this guy, Albert Einstein, decently smart human being. Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. And here's the crazy thing. I learned this just recently, probably a few months ago. It said you can only reach a certain level of energy without your voice, right? I'm sitting here like doing all the things, raising my energy, like going and doing cold plunges or whatever it is that like helps you raise your energy. But it's a whole nother level when I'm just sitting here and I'm going, I'm excited, let's go, woo! It's a whole different energy. And when I have more conviction in that, it just elevates in an instant, right? And again, I'm just gonna repeat it because it's so imperative. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. And what did Conor McGregor say? He said, if you can see it in your mind and you can feel it in your heart and you have the courage and the conviction to speak it out, it'll happen. It's just a matter of time. And this is a really important one because energy is now scientifically backed now. This is David Hawkins, if you guys ever read like Power versus Force or Letting Go, he talks about this. There's even machines about this. I haven't dove into them, I want to, but they actually can track exactly where your energy is and where your frequency is. And all of these ones up here, this is where abundance is. If you want to stay in fear, lack, scarcity, all that kind of stuff, stay right there. But if you want to raise your frequency, raise your energy, it's all right here. And one of the quickest ways to do that is with our voice. Because one of the other things that I learned is that your vocal tonality is the dial to your energy. Okay? Your vocal tonality is the dial to your energy. I learned that from one of my mentors, and it made so much sense because, you know, there's days when I'm just like kind of, yeah, things are all right, okay. You can immediately see how my energy is just, but when I'm excited, instant, it's instant. So, next slide. I like to think of it like this. Energy is the fast pass. Like you're gonna get to your goals, you're gonna do all the things, and you're gonna like become that person that you're meant to be. But if you raise your energy and you utilize energy the way I've been explaining, it's the fast pass. You guys familiar with the fast pass at Disney? Where you just get to go to the front of the line? That's the life I choose. That's the business that I choose. I wanna be at the fast pass. Next slide. So again, coming back to these two magnetic people, Jim Carrey's great. Like, I wouldn't be upset at 100 mil, 180 mil at 62. But I firmly stand on this. If Conor McGregor, I obviously don't know his vision because it's, you know, an important thing about vision is it's always evolving, right? But I truly believe that he can be a billionaire if he wants to, if he really sets that up and keeps building that vision, and it's because of the fact that he has that conviction and he has the courage to speak it out. So, all this sounds cool, right? But I'm a big examples guy. Would you guys like to see or hear an example of like what this really looks like, what it feels like? Yeah. Next one. And one big thing I want you guys to notice through this, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? And to give a little context to this is Michael, and this is the thing I've been cheesing about. Understand why? Energy. Michael and Blake became clients, what was it, like a year ago, year and a half or something like that? That was 2 years ago. Damn, something, time, life. Anyways, they put their faith in me to help them build out their vision. And we needed a little refresher. So we've been working diligently on some things, and I'll explain a little bit more what this is all about. But we decided to make another updated vision for my boys.
It's Michael. It's Blake. The future Michael and Blake. I'm so excited for you to get here, but I'm equally, if not more, pumped for you to embrace every moment until you do get here. It's cool to see how loyal, committed, and trustworthy you are. We're excited for you to see who you've become and all you've achieved. Yeah, the collaborations with the NFL, NBA, churches, universities, nonprofits, and Fortune 50 companies, the massive talk show world tour, the entrepreneur fund inside of the app, the coaches employed, the scholarships given to the youth, the exit for $1 billion, but most importantly, all the lives you've had a massive impact on, especially your own. Now we have some really exciting news to share with you, and we'll get to it here in the next few minutes. But first I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. We know things get challenging every once in a while. We know you want to quit from time to time. We know sometimes you get impatient, but all I can tell you is embrace it. Be grateful for it. Just like the fact that you're grateful for when you started feeling scattered with 7 different income streams and no mentorship. Because from that time you learned some of the most powerful business principles of focus, fail fast and fail forward. And because of all of that, it taught you the most invaluable business lessons in a matter of months, saving you so much time, money, and energy that most companies spend years or even decades never realizing. That might not have happened otherwise. But let's not stop there. You got featured on the Just Grow podcast live event. You threw your first live podcast with the $100 million David Meltzer. You got to travel all over the country interviewing some of the most successful people in the world on the FGMB talk show. You were able to partner with legends like Greg Reed, who's published over 100 books. You got James Dixon, a man with 170 million plus views on YouTube, to be the spokesperson for the app. You were able to launch the coaching company Ideal University. You're powerful and it's fun to watch, but don't just take it from me. Hear it from these people that love you so much.
Michael, Blake, man, FGMB, just wanted to show some love to you guys. Really grateful for who you are, who you're becoming, how far you've come, and the impact you've had on my life. Thank you for just being men of integrity in a business that is all about values and growth and development, being the best version of yourself, continue to lead leaders, sharpen yourself so you can overflow into others, and just keep leading well, keep pursuing excellence, and thank you for doing all those things. And to wrap this up, man, much love. Keep growing, keep going. Let's grow.
Hey guys, I'm a big fan of Blake and his partner Mike. These guys are incredible. The company they put together, the brand they built is amazing. They're there to help people, help young and older and any age entrepreneurs just do better in life, set goals, do better with your finances. We all know it's better to have a coach, someone there that can push us, someone that can encourage us and get us to strive for more. And that's what this program is all about. And these guys are just doing it the right way. I know they put in so much money, time, resources to create this brand, to make it what it is today. So super grateful to be friends with them, to know them, and to help promote their brand because it's doing good for the world.
Michael and Blake, man, I've known these young men for a while now, and what I know is they have a heart for people, they have a heart for growth, they have a heart for creating generational wealth and showing other people how to create generational wealth. I see them teaching and engaging people in a way that it's opening doors and giving them permission to say, I can create wealth too. This is what the world needed. It needed more people who were truly passionate about people, who had an understanding that together we can all win. And Michael and Blake and what they've done is exactly that. It's giving people the permission to win. And I can tell you right now, just by being connected to these individuals, It's inspired me. Let's take this thing to the next level, man. Michael and Blake, I love you guys, and I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Blake, Michael, you guys are doing some incredible work. You guys are really consistent, man. Since I've known you guys have been going at it. Man, I love what you guys are doing. And the message that you guys got going on behind the actual brand is just, man, something that I can personally relate to. Keep up the good work.
And that's just a tiny fraction of the people you've impacted up until this date. I'd say you're pretty loved. From all those people and plenty more, but most importantly from you, from us. And here's some truth from us to you that I don't ever want you to forget. Tough times don't last, but tough companies do. Ideal, you're tough and you're absolutely amazing. You're literally one of the most influential, persistent, and impact-driven companies anyone has ever met. And once you started tapping into your true potential is when everything was elevated to the next level in a very big way. You had always been rather dialed in, but once you created that Vision audio with Nico, things really started to shift. And as you continue to listen to it daily, you continued the approach of just staying consistent with your efforts, actions, thoughts, and habits. You continue to look through the lens of business operations for decades, and as long as you stay after it, make friends, and have fun, there would be absolutely nothing to stop you from everything you wanted to create. You continue to throw the monthly Ideal workshops, building up the brand stronger every single time you brought high-level and high-impact entrepreneurs together. This really started building the momentum like you knew it always would. Big players were really starting to pay attention, and once you finally launched the Ideal app, it took off like a rocket ship. Floods and floods of entrepreneurs from all over the world were not only downloading it, but using it daily and transforming their lives for the better. At Secret Knock, in a room of dozens and dozens of high-level business owners, you were the most highlighted company as Greg just wanted to continue to lift you guys up for what you stood for and the people you continue to show up as, especially because you were the official talk show of Secret Knock, which had never happened before. In addition to that, the relationship and bond you continued to cultivate with Nico and Just Grow Visions allowed you to set up the perfect partnership to put the vision videos inside of the app. And because of that, it skyrocketed both companies like nothing you'd ever seen. You both were becoming the true leaders that took over the personal development space like it needed.
And I also wanted to remind you that even though things were unfolding just the way you set out to, life is full of challenges, some expected and some unexpected. It's easy to feel discouraged when faced with adversity, and it's tempting to give in to defeat. However, it's important to remember to keep the vision alive. We know challenges will come, but it's just part of the process, and it's essential to enjoy every step of the journey. And because of the way you continue to show up, regardless of the challenges, the vision just got stronger and stronger. Everything that you had the desire to create just continued to come to reality. The talk show quickly started becoming the fastest growing on all platforms like Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire, and countless others. Of course, you were eventually able to launch the fund and legal resources that instantly changed 10,000s of business owners that didn't have proper capital or resources before. On top of that, you were able to employ so many coaches, giving amazing people opportunity to serve and create an income that never would have had the chance. You were able to get Ideal into nonprofits and give scholarships to the youth. You were able to start hitting the professional athletic leagues like NFL and NBA, helping the coaches as well as the players. Of course, you were hitting churches, major universities, Fortune 500 and Fortune 50 companies. You got to travel the world, speaking on the largest stages and podcasts, massively expanding the brand and message about impact. And because of all of this, you were most definitely able to sell the company for $1 billion like you always knew it would.
Ideal, we're so damn proud of you. We've never seen anything like your success. We love how you're the most engaged but least attached. We love how you choose to bring great energy to every moment. It's so obvious how grateful you are for every single breath of your life. Ideal, we love you. We love who you are. We love who you've always been. And we love who you're constantly becoming. Now get up and make it a great day.
I haven't had goosebumps like that in a long time for that long. Hands are sweating, palms, everything. Thank you, I appreciate you, man. So you can see how that all follows that, right? Made peace where they're at. They have something outside of their head. Start immediately. They speak it, and actually speak it. That was AI. But it's something that they can listen to every single day. That was AI.
That was AI, guys. That was Blake and I's voice
So that's a whole nother conversation. But you see how that like encapsulates everything. And go to next one. That's why these guys are magnetic, right? That was their second version of their vision, but we've already had one. They've already been creating this. That's why they're magnetic. That's why they pull in people like James Dixon as their spokesperson for the app. That guy has over 170 million YouTube views. Why they're getting partnered with people like Greg Reed, Sharon Lecter. That's why they continually pull in magic into their life, because they're magnetic, because they have a vision and they're reminded of it every single day. So my closing message to you all that are listening is build a vision, and build a real vision. Go to the next one. And like I said, it starts now. We've been doing this for a while, and one of the things that I hear from people saying is like, oh, I don't know what I want. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who I am exactly. But it starts right now. My vision when I lived with my parents, when I was driving Uber, sleeping on a futon in my mom's office, was to move to Arizona. Was get out of that situation. That was my vision. So the vision always continues to expand and grow and evolve, but it's never an excuse not to have a vision. It's always important to start right now. The best time was last year. The next best time is today. Next one. So here's the question that you got to ask yourself. Do you want to be busy, or do you want to be magnetic? Next one. So I also have a few different resources if you guys want to check out some stuff. If you scan this QR code, you can also go to my Instagram bio, or just go to justgrowvisions.com/ideal. I put together some cool stuff for you guys. I have some guided visualizations. I have the slides for this if you guys want to check those out. I have more examples and science that backs up all of this. You can also check out our documentary that we recorded for Just Grow, and we're actually in the process of recording and building out the second one. We have an event on March 29th. That's our next podcast event. And then also show you kind of our process on how we create these and how we coach entrepreneurs. So that's my gift to all you guys, and thank you guys for letting me speak and just share my vision. It means a lot.
Wow, wow, wow. Who in here has a vision video? Do you mind sharing your testimonial about what the vision video did and like your thoughts and your experience with it, if you don't mind?
Sure. So, I met Nick.
Yeah, you can give that to Clean.
Like a little over a year ago, and we had a great conversation at the dinner table, and he shared some about his life, and I shared some about my life, and we just kind of had a connection, and I trusted him to do this for me, and I didn't really know what to expect, but he has his process, and he pulls this information out of you, and he gets testimonials from people that know you, and he collects images and puts together what I had in my heart into like a movie format. When he showed it to me, I mean, it was just like bawling. I mean, song too. There was a song.
It hits, huh?
Yeah. To it, which now I mean, that song comes on, and it's just like tears rolling down my face. And the cool thing about he knows, because I think he recorded that video, that Zoom session where he unveiled the video for me, and it's just like, don't you dare show this video.
I want to see that.
Yeah, so I it was about a year ago that I got the video, and much has actually happened for me. So I love Pico.
Awesome. And one thing I could touch on is it hit me hard right there, and I got a little teared up like right in the go, and then especially hearing my voice, because at first I was like, dude, like that's me, but not me, if that makes sense, because I didn't record that. So as I'm sitting there doing it, but what I want to compare, because you brought up Conor McGregor. How many of you guys watch Conor McGregor fight, or have you been watching him fight? What's crazy is when you see people, when you do the vision videos, you do that. We did it had to have been 2 years ago, bro. It's been a couple years, but when you actually fast forward, and I'm glad you updated it because we have a lot of different changes going on in our life, but when you fast forward it, why I started to get teared up is because a lot of things that he was even saying in this vision video have actually already happened. And what's crazy is, I remember Conor McGregor's one of his fights that really propelled him and everything. And if you know Conor McGregor's story and everything, where he was poor, he didn't have anything, how he was fighting, he was living off food stamps, all this crazy stuff. And he had a family and 2 young kids, but he was all in. He had a visual for it. He won this fight that put him on the map. And I remember his wife and his kids walking in the thing, and he just drops to his knees and he starts crying. And how many people that you know, whether you've gotten a Grammy award, or your business did what you wanted it to do, and you see people break down and cry? How many of you guys have seen that?
Yeah.
See a lot of that, right? Well, do you guys know why those people are crying? Do you know the emotion that's deep inside? And that's what I felt right now, is because my little quick nutshell story, over the last decade, I've been through 12 different companies. I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I lost everything in 2014, and I lost just everything in 2018. I've been with my lady for 11 years, going on 12 years. We have our 2 beautiful children. My daughter's coming up on 1.5 years, and my son's coming up on 3 months. The reason why I say all that is because she was with me when I lost everything twice. I have my kids now, and I've lost it all twice, 14 and 18. The reason why this hit home and everything is because I never stopped in the visual of who I wanted to become in the end goal and where I'm going. And people see when we go through companies and companies, like, how do you keep going? And the crazy thing is there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of people that you see, Ed Milet's, all these people on stages that are teaching you and telling you all these things. But how many of you guys have ever went to an event and someone was on stage telling you all these things verbally on what to do, and then you left and you didn't know what to do? So where we're really excited is that happens all over the world still today. He was talking about, or you guys are going to an Aspire tour event thing, right? You're going to go there, it's going to motivate, they're going to give you all this information, you're going to leave. What we're excited to bring to the marketplace and why we're going to be the #1 personal development app on earth is because we're now providing a tool that you can now utilize to help you go wherever you want with your vision, your dream. And when people leave with this information, you now have the tool. It's a process, structured systems to help you go win in life of whatever it is that you want to do in personal and in business. And I've been doing this for the last decade. And this book right here is what's basically digital inside the app. And what hit me right here is because everything he's saying, I've been visualizing and seeing everything that was on that vision video. If you know what this guy is, did you guys see the screen that said trillionaire? That's his thing right there. And the reason why I say that is this kid, why we work so good together, we've been business partners for the last decade. We went through 12 companies together. I've lost everything twice, and he's been with me and through all that stuff. And the reason why I say that is because of his vision, what he sees, and the vision, what I see, and us utilizing this tool, writing your goals down. What's so crazy is why we love what he does is because everything he just talked about is in our book. Gratitude's in the book. Your goals are in the book. Your daily financials in the book. How to build a business is in your book. How to plan out your years, your quarters, all that stuff. Everything that he just spoke tonight, he just basically talked about ideal. And that's what hit home. And when you understand the compound effect of visualizing and seeing it and putting in that work, and now you have a tool that can help you get there, that's when your life is going to change and you're going to get to the next level. And I'm excited because the last thing I'll leave you with is I'm a president of a solar company. I've been in solar for about 4 years. It's so funny. We had these big checks and everything we do for all of our top sales guys, and we write their check on there and take a picture with them. Well, we stopped doing it. We got a new one. I wrote on this thing when I first started my first year in solar. I put Blake Hahn, and I wrote a check, and I put it up in our office, and everybody come through was like, whose check's that? And I was like, that's mine. And then I was like, you made that? Like, that's actually yours? And I was like, no. I was like, but I'm going to write myself my first $1 million check. Well, in year 3 of me selling solar, I cleared my first $1 million in personal commissions in solar and actually had a 1099 with 2 commas in it. So talking about visualizing and seeing what you want, putting it on a check like Jim Carrey did, putting it in his wallet, it's so true and it's so insane. But if you could actually put in the work, visualize it, have gratitude, see yourself, visualize yourself, write down the goals. Your goals is a clear roadmap of your life and where you want to go. That's what I always call it. And most people don't know, and they don't have goals. They don't know where they're going. They don't have a clear roadmap of their life, and that's why they're scattered and all over the place. So to only say is thank you for the vision video. I love it. Thank you for what you did tonight, because what you're speaking is what we do, and that's probably why we're magnetic and we're attracting each other and everything, and we're going to be working together. But it's changed my life. What he's saying is so true and everything, and I'm just excited because we get to bring this to the marketplace, and we're already changing millions of other people's life with what we're doing, and bringing your Greg Reeds, your James Dixons, your Sharon Lexers, your Kelly Cardenas, and all these people on board to get behind us and what we're doing. So If you got anything else to top it off before we go on a break.
Yeah, I'll just give my short version of that. Is it's so hard to make these vision audios and vision videos when you are magnetic, because like Blake said, like half of the stuff inside of that vision audio, me and Nick just had a conversation on this to make this happen, but all of that stuff is like, it's already done, it's already complete, I gotta make a new one, right? So it's like almost every quarter or every 6 months, these gotta be updated, because if you're speaking it, someone said about speaking it, Connor, if you're speaking it, but you're confident and you believe in it so much, everyone's gonna realize that it can happen, right? And then they're on board with you. And so it's like, man, we got to make a new one. We got to figure out what the new vision is for the next decade or something, and then keep crafting it, keep perfecting it. But that's what's nice is every single quarter, as you're going through life, you should be somewhere else in the next 90 days. It's a 90-day book, by the way. Every 90 days, you should be somewhere else in your personal life. If you're for those of you building a business, you should be somewhere further in your business. I know people that just because they have a $10 million business, the business is run like crap, right? And they're not getting over it. And there's months where they can't get higher, but they keep getting lower, and then they keep hitting the 10 million again. Then they keep getting lower, and then they hit the 10 million again. But it's like, how come you can't hit past 10 million? There's a reason why, right? So it doesn't matter if you're just getting started or if you already have a 10-figure business or a 9-figure business or 8-figure business, you can keep progressing. So before we go to break, we have 4 books here, or 4 bags. I want to give one of these away. Anybody, the first person I see on the, I'll use the QR code for example, scan the QR code, join the wait list. The first name that I see pop up on it, I'm gonna give this book to right now, or this bag to. While that's going in, we're gonna go to break. So the restroom's right over here. We got waters over there. We'll do a 10-15 minute break. Let's get back into our seats. You guys are gonna like the second half of this. Everyone's gonna get to speak. Right? We're going to get out of your comfort zone. If you guys don't like to speak, you're going to get out of your comfort zone. We're going to know who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for right now, where you need the most help. After that, we'll do a hot seat. I'll dive into that after break and what that is. And then from there, we'll get to network, and we'll all get to collaborate, build relationships to the end of the night. So let's see what pops up. All righty.
Drum roll.
We got Mariana Reeves. Oh, okay. Reeves, sorry. Perfect. So that first one's yours.
Alrighty, let's break out, and we got 15 minutes, and we'll get right back. Thank you, guys.
Sir.